Right, I have bottled it. I am going to do it in the garage. There are many people I will take on in this world. My wife is not one of them. Plus we've got 2 kids still here, so they'll bobble me. Right, so you last saw it as complete paint. I have rubbed it down. I do need a sink to do it. I don't really like filming in the house, etc. This was venting everywhere, etc. So what do? I do 1200 wet, and by wet I mean wet. I don't mean it's sprayed. I mean I'm next to a sink and it's soaking in the sink. I then use a sponge pad. I like that one, you know, spongy pad. Wrap my 1200 grit. I just go around, and you want it, and if I can work out how, I'll drop a link to my paint playlist, because I go through this in proper detail. I'm just giving you a heads over here. So I then go over that until eventually I've got rid of the paint flecking. That it looks like sparkle, so you get to like a bowling ball shine, if you like, which is kind of what I've got here. A flat smooth. You want to get rid of the flecks, the natural flecks that are in it, and just keep going with the 1200. Once most of it's gone, make your way up to the 2000, then the 2500, and you should get rid of the flecks. Again, I've still got some flecking in some places, but it's where it's vulnerable for me to rub through, and I've made a point of not doing that. So it's not perfect, but you know, for a rattle can in a shed job, it's not too bad. I do all of my sanding by hand. I do most of my polishing by hand as well, but that polishing tends to be because I do it in front of the telly with the missus there, so I can make noise while I'm doing this. So this is, what's that got? This is my rubbing compound, Mother's. It's, yeah. Now the problem with Halford's rubbing compound, in my experience, is the fact that it's too gritty and it leaves small scratches in it. This stuff is less gritty, but it just does less. But anyway, not too much on. Damp sponge. Spin it off till all the water spins off, and that's about how damp you need it. But let's give it a quick go. Bit noisy, but I will try and talk. The dual action's better than a circular because there is some randomness in its cover, so you're less likely to burn through. But you can just do it by hand or with a drill with a sponge on the end. This was a Christmas present, I think, a couple of years back. So you might want to add it to your Christmas list. If I could, I would have frankly got a smaller one. This is quite heavy, and it's big enough for two hands, but you're not really covering that much volume to do two-handed. I probably would have got one a bit quieter as well. I think this is a little bit too much for me because this is set on 1, and I think it goes up to 6. And from my experience, putting it on 6, it just sprays whatever compound you're putting on against the nearest wall, and creates a bit of a mess. So I think it's probably, unusually for me actually, I normally end up under baking these things, but I think I've over baked it on this one. I think it's a little bit too much tool for the job that I use it for, but hey, it's better for once having too much than too little. Now what I would love to tell everyone to do and do myself is, you know, every part of it needs to be immaculate. Well, this is a tank. It sits right under your nose. So for what it's worth, my advice concentrates on the bits you stare at. Yeah, the other bits need to be good as well, but the bit you stare at, if there's a big blemish in it, it's just going to pee you off. Right, I'm just going to let that dry. It's pretty much dry already, and then give that a towel off. I don't really think it's going to need another one, but I'll have a look once I've done that. I'm leaving the paint at the top fairly unmolested at the moment, as in around the fuel cap. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm going to let that dry off. Fresh, clean microfiber. I have a bag of them. The worst thing you can do is pick up some crap in it and scrape it into your paint, so I tend to try and keep them clean. Try not to put them on the floor. If they hit the floor, they then go in the wash stack, and I just keep them rolling that way. And they last for ages, you know, and they cost bugger all anyway. But right, I'm going to let that cure off, give it a rub down, and then move on. Just realised I wasn't recording then, so I don't tend to buff with an electric. I don't know why. I think I'm concerned about burning through. I have done it, and I probably will again, but I try not to do it. So this is the cutting paste down. Unfortunately, I'm doing this on a squeaky chair, which probably isn't the brightest thing in the world, but hey. So you can see we're starting to get there. We're starting to get there. Now, I'm not saying you need to do this, but it's what I did on the mud guard, and it seemed to work. I do have some other. This came with my dual action. Supposedly it's final finishing. Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm going to use the same sponge. I'm not going to bother swapping between the two, which is a little bit pointless, but hey, I probably should. But don't want to go overboard even. Right, and I'm going to do the same, and then I'll drop you back in once I'm rubbing this stuff off. Right, there we are. So just to reiterate, this has had zero polish so far. This is literally rubbing down the paintwork. It looks a bit blue in this light. That's weird. It's purple. Looks a bit blue. It does look. God, that looks really blue. That's weird. Anyway, ignore my camera. That's purple. I don't know why that's coming out. That's weird. Anyway, it's distracting me. Oh, that looks. But there you go. Oh no, it's starting. It's purple. Anyway, it's looking pretty good. It's got, small network of small scratches around it. So what I'm going to do next is get a colour restorer on it and do probably 2 or 3 coats of that, and then get some polish on it. So let me get you set back up, and I'll get the colour restorer on. Right, so my choice is Meguiar's Ultimate Compounds as far as colour restorer is concerned. So it is polish. I think polish is a 2-part process, so you get something for the colour and something for the shine. I've probably just put too much on there. That's going to go everywhere, never mind. So I intend to do 2 or 3 covers of this on a nice soft sponge. I probably need some new ones actually. These are looking a little bit raggy. But we shall see. I think I'm going to wear a fair amount of this. Right. Alright, so just a good thick coverage on this stuff generally. I think I'm going to do 2 or 3 of these. I'm not going to make you watch, I'll do 2 or 3 of these, and then I'll drop you back in before we start going for the final polish. I'll say the final polish for now. Right, okay, so 3 decent coats of the Ultimate Compound. So the colour pull through. It's looking a lot waxier and a damn sight shinier. And again, polish isn't on yet, so polish next. I'm a sucker for Meguiar's bit of ultimate polish, gloss enhancer. I still can see a fair amount of like small scale scratches, but that's not unusual for me. I will go for 3 of these and I'll drop you back in. Okay then, so that's the last of my polish coats on. I'm deliberately doing this without my machine running because I've looked back at some of my earlier footage and realised you can barely hear a word I'm saying while I'm doing it. But I just thought while I was doing this, I'd pass on some wisdom. I don't often do like how-tos and top tips and things, but I just think that occasionally it's worthwhile saying what I do and what I've learned, and you can take it with a pinch of salt if you like, whilst I'm showing the sort of evidence. Oh, crampy fingers, I've been doing this too much. First things first, in terms of the polish, I have no scientific basis for this at all, but I'm of the opinion that, and this sounds a little bit nuts, and I know, I think fresh paint is thirsty. I have no microscopic evidence of, but it seems to soak up. Fresh paint seems to soak in polish and soak in layers of polish, and I have no scientific background for that at all, bar my own limited experience. So what? I think your early coats of polish need to be quite thick. You need to, well, sorry, I'll rephrase that. I find that my early coats soak up more polish. That's a better way of putting it, therefore I'm not lying to you. I tend to find that. So what? So for the 3 coats of each that I've used, the first one of my colour restorer and my polish, I've gone thick. I've put a lot on, and then I've just zooped it in, let it dry, polished it out by hand. My second coat I've put in less, considerably less, and my third coat I've effectively used what's on the sponge. I haven't put any extra on, I've just used what I've got on the sponge. So I could be wrong, I don't know, it seems to work for me. But yeah, it just seems that if you put too much on, you're just going to be, you know, rather than rubbing the polish off, you're just going to be scraping off half liquid. But yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, there's that. So that's point 1. Start heavy, finish lighter is probably what I'd sum it up as. Second is microfibers. Can you see them? You can kind of see them. Hang on, let me. There's loads of them over there. Don't overuse them. So when you feel that it's not quite picking up, or it even starts to feel a little bit gummy, swap it over. So I've gone through 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 on this tank. That's probably excessive. Oh, 8. Sorry, there's one down in the corner as well. That's probably excessive, and I've probably done too much. But you know, keep them. You can tell when you're rubbing it, they're going, oh, well, that's not picking it up anymore. Well, then rather than persevere, because you're more likely to catch some crap in there and scratch it, just swap it over. So have a healthy stack of them, and all of those that lay over there, so that I remember to put them in the laundry this evening, which I do. Right. Let's have a look. It's probably going to look blue again. It's not blue, it's purple. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the light, but what you can see is quite a nice shine, quite a nice reflection. Hello. And for a home paint job, I am ecstatic. And I have mentioned before, it hasn't got 2K on the top. It's got the cam brush paint on it, which, again, if I can find the link, I'll find a way of putting it somewhere, but it's in my paint stack. It does claim to be petrol proof, petrol resistant, beg your pardon, and it's really good. It'll take a spill for I think I tested it for half hour, but it'll take a spill at petrol station quite happily. Pretty. Look at that. Hello. Not bad at all. Right, I think as a final vinegar shot, I will chuck it on the bike. I need to sort out all this stuff that needs to go in the laundry, and then we'll finish it off. Right, there we go. I've even chucked the seat back on for dramatic effect. I'm happy with that. I'm more than happy with that, actually. As far as a rattle can paint job's concerned, it's starting to look a bit purple again. It's a weird light thing within here. Believe me, it looks very purple in person. But yeah, we are getting there. I'm rapidly running out of things to do while I'm waiting for these sodding tappets. But I am desperately avoiding playing with electrics, but hey, we shall see how that goes. Right, that will do me. Not the most inspiring one when it comes to paint in terms of polishing, but people do ask what I do and how I end up with the results I get. Again, it's just rattle cans. You can actually turf out some half decent results from rattle cans, in my humble opinion. Hello. You just got to be patient and aware that what you're working with is necessarily quite thin, so you just need to be a little bit ginger with it. Right, that'll do me for another one. I'm not sure what's next. Hopefully tappets if they ever turn up. Cheers all, I'll catch you later on. Ta-da.